Good, mate. Good, good. Hyped for Sunday, man. And listen, Friday feeling good, my friend.
Yeah, good, good. Listen, as I
Are,
was
are
telling
you
you
are
before
you
we went
hyped? Are
live,
you hyped,
I just
Staffy?
feel
Are
like I
you
haven't
hyped,
been here for
Staffy?
a while. So
Are you hyped,
good to be
Staffy?
back.
You hyped? You
That-
hyped? You hyped about Sunday?
yeah, listen, Viva España. We'll get to that later, you know. But should be excited. Yeah, I'm excited for good football. Well, you didn't like that answer.
No, I just you support an English football team, and you should be supporting England as a neutral, in my opinion. But there we
I
go.
support
There we
Kobe
go.
Manu. If England win and Kobe Manu picks up a medal, I'm okay with it.
In fairness, when England are not at Euros, we haven't been to a couple in my lifetime. I've always picked the team with the most Man United or my favorite Man United players in. To be fair, so
That's how I
do.
usually do it.
Yeah,
I just want England to lose so I could just have a little dig at you guys. But if they win, listen, I'll be happy for the United guys, especially Manu. Listen, I can run an agenda that you guys didn't win an international trophy until Kobe Manu burst on the scene. Come on. That's
Yeah.
an easy agenda for
But
me
I
next
will
year.
be here. And listen, I like Kobe Manu, but it comes back your way because if England don't win, then we rub it in. Oh, Kobe Manu didn't win a trophy, and you can't gloat because you're gloating at your own
I'll
players'
find someone
demise.
else to blame.
You're
As
gloating
long
at
as you
his
don't know
own
my game yet.
failure. So, but if England lose and you're celebrating Kobe Manu's failure. You're like he's gonna be distraught. He's gonna be upset, and you're laughing at him. You're
No.
gloating at him.
We're not doing
That's
that.
on you, a
We're
young
not doing
player at
that.
Man United. Shame on you, Staffy.
We're
Shame
not
on
doing
you.
that. What is it? The squad is 23 players. There's about 21 players that don't play for United. I'll
But
blame
he's
all
gonna
of them.
feel it though. He's gonna be upset. Kobe Manu wants to win that, and he's gonna be
Why you
disappointed. He's gonna
acting
have
like
a
I'm
bad
the reason
day.
he's gonna lose if he loses? I'll
No, I'm
find
not saying
someone
he'll
else to
be the
blame.
reason.
yeah.
but
No,
he
and
will
I
be
agree. I
upset.
agree with Lawless. You are it, Staffy. I'm putting you are the epicenter of the butterfly effect here. You.
Blaming me.
I,
We're blaming the whole loss on me.
I
Listen,
want to
I
throw.
have
I
good
want
news for
to.
you
Go on.
guys, though. Last time, Rodri went into a final, with his winning streak on the line. He lost. And who did he lose to? Against Kobe Manu in the final.
Kobe.
So I'm just telling you guys, listen, if you win, it's because of Manu. If you lose, I have to blame someone else. I've seen him boss Rodri in the FA Cup final. So if he can't
See,
boss him on the weekend, I'm blaming the other players.
this is why I'm not
Easy
buying
agenda
into
for me.
the big oh, how can England possibly beat Spain? Spain are too good. If Man United can beat Man City in a cup final, England can definitely beat Spain in a cup final.
We'll get into that. We'll get into it. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sure we'll get into the game in detail.
Well, we're in it. We can stay in it now. We're in it now. We've started.
All right, might as well.
The first thing I wanted to throw out to you is I've had a lot of gooners, in fact, state that we're not going to have the ball against Spain. Therefore, Kobe Manu should be dropped for Conor Gallagher to help us win the Euros. And for me, I think that opinion is shrouded in two things. Firstly, it's shrouded in either English or Man United hatred and almost trying to put out an agenda that is triggering to either fan base, more so Man United. Or secondly, you have not been watching Spain play at this tournament. Only one game have they had the lion's share of possession. That was against Georgia. In the others, they've had marginally more or less than their opponents, including when they played Italy. Italy had 3 to 4% more ball than them. By the way, the Swiss then dominated the Italians, who then England dominated the ball against. I think the idea that we're not going to have the ball, the only time we're going to have exponentially less possession than Spain is if we score a goal or two early and then sit back and try and counter. That's going to be it. But Kobe Manu starting this final, Lawless, surely that has to happen.
Yeah, easily has to be starting. He's been one of England's most consistent players, and I don't think Kobe Manu is this. If we're trying to be more defensive, I don't think he's this glaring hole like defensively in midfield. I think he can put a tackle in. We've seen him be able to quickly put a tackle in and start a counter attack. I think he's been out of the pairing of him and Rice. He's been much better, much more crucial than Rice. I think Rice, although defensively has been sort of solid, I think overall Manu's been much better than him. So any suggestion of dropping him, I think, is ridiculous. I don't know if it's because of his age, like you said, or if it's a Man United sort of hatred. But you can't take anything away. And if they do that, if Southgate dropped him and put Gallagher in, mate, oh my God, it would be full on meltdown online. You know what I mean? So no, can't happen, man. He's deserves to play and start that final.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. Anyone who says that, I'm not gonna lie, they're just either doing it on purpose or they just have no idea what they're talking about. Um, he's been England's best midfielder, and when I say best midfielder, there's a lot of midfielders that get praised for doing stuff that's outside of a midfielder's job. Really, like, listen, goals are important, but like, I don't really care if my midfielder gets me a goal, but he doesn't do what a midfielder is supposed to do, which is like control the ball, pass the ball around, make incisive passes, keep possession, stuff like that. And no one has done that better than Mainu. And to take him out when you're about to play arguably the best midfield in the Euros from the beginning. Listen, they lost Pedri, but Denny Olmo's been amazing. Rodri's there, and Fabian Ruiz has been absolutely balling out. So this whole midfield is very good. They're all very good at the ball. They all keep the ball well. They all pass the ball well. They can all take on a man and beat a man. So they have so many qualities that I don't think there's one midfield three that England can put out that can match that midfield. Like, you try to nullify them in ways. And I agree. I actually don't mind the idea of Conor Gallagher starting. I really don't, because I thought about it when the final was basically confirmed that it's England and Spain, and I thought about it and I was like, you know what, Conor Gallagher actually did well twice this season. Or I think they played twice or three times against City. One of them in the cup, I believe. And he's done a very good job at like bothering Rodri. And if you can bother Rodri and not allow him to play his best game, that's not a bad game plan at all. It shouldn't be the whole game plan, but it's not the worst game plan. But I feel like the only reason people are saying Mainu should be dropped is because when they look at the age of the players in the midfield, plus the aura, because I'm hearing some players should start because of aura. You know, they just look at it and they feel like, well, it's easier to tell Mainu to sit on the bench than it is to tell Rice or a Bellingham, because Bellingham won't get benched. Bellingham won't. What was it? Was it the Turkey game that he wouldn't get subbed off, something like that? And then obviously Rice, a lot of people, if you try to bench Rice, they'll be like, are you crazy? I actually think if you bench Bellingham and play Gallagher, that's a better midfield. I genuinely do believe it. I think if you play Gallagher, Rice, and Mainu against that Spain 3, that's a little bit better of a matchup. Because, like, I'm looking at this game as like, all right, it's just the last game of the tournament. You're not really trying to play your best 11. You're trying to play the best 11 for this game. And when I look at the options that you have, if you put Gallagher to play instead of Bellingham and to be just that pest in the midfield that just disrupts everything Rodri does, and then you have Mainu and Rice doing the same thing they've been doing all tournament, you have a better chance right there. You know, if you want to bring in Gallagher, that's who you need to take out. Because do I trust Bellingham to do what Gallagher could do, which is break up play and all that stuff? I don't think he will. I really don't think he will. So Mainu should not be the one that's being benched at all. I'm being serious about it.
I agree with that logic. If the plan is to basically try and put Rodri on a leash and set Gallagher on him, it shouldn't be Kobbie Mainoo who is sacrificed for that. It's a Foden or it's a Bellingham potentially. And if it's going to be any of those two, I mean, it's a hard one because Foden was actually really good for 50, 60 minutes, I thought, in the semi-final, and then just he faded. But I think he faded because he worked so hard and was taken off. But I don't think Conor Gallagher will start. I think it's going to be the exact same team that started the semi-final, in my personal opinion. The only change I think that may happen is Luke Shaw in for Trippier.
I think Luke Shaw plays the whole game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, he's been brought to the tournament. I mean, Luke Shaw was probably one of the biggest criticisms that Southgate got, especially when he didn't even train with the first team in the group stages. Imagine he starts and has a really good game and we win the Euros. It then looks like a masterstroke, an absolute masterstroke of a move. But yeah, I think that'll be the only change. I think it'll be Trippier for sure. Everything else is going to stay the same. And that Spanish midfield you mentioned, they have been impeccable in this tournament. But what I will say is when they came up against the Germans, they weren't as relentless in their attack as they were in other matches. They, in fact, when they were winning 1-0 with 20 minutes to go, they took Nico Williams and Yamal off. Now, maybe they've learned from that mistake. I think we're going to see something similar against England. Now, I'm hoping they're not leading against us. I'm not. This is why they're going to have 80% of the ball. You need someone like Conor Gallagher to win it back for you. I don't think this Spanish will be as gung-ho, as attacking as we've seen in other games, because the one thing you'd say about England is we have packed a punch in this tournament when we've had opportunities. We haven't got a bad goal scoring record. We probably haven't created the abundance of chances we want, But that is because most teams have sat back against us and made it hard for us to break them down. And I think that's what I like about this game. The Spanish have been the best performing team thus far at the tournament. But every single team has been gettable. Every single team has leaked chances and opportunities. And England will create chances against the Spaniards. It's going to come down to who is the most clinical. And yes, sometimes you look at a game and go, do you know what? The midfield battle is what's going to win this game. I don't, unless one midfield has an absolute amazing 90 minutes, does 65% of the ball, and they keep breaking the lines and they keep winning possession back. But I see it being a little bit of a, I think both midfields will do well. And then when both midfields do well, it means both sides are going to create chances. And I think that's what's going to happen in this game. And it's going to come down to whether or not our front line or their front line
I think
is
it's
the
the
most
wing
clinical
play
in front of goal. And